Hello and welcome, fans of armoured and mechanised warfare in general, to Armoured Warfare. Patch 13.0, is it 13.0 or is it 13.1? Could call it patch 13, okay? Patch 13 has just been released minutes ago, a bit later than expected, but it has been released, and with it come a crap ton of changes. First of all, the fonts have changed slightly. They look a bit thicker, the letters, and the numbers look a bit cleaner as well. Not the biggest change, that's actually the smallest one. But hey, the UI looks a bit nicer, more colourful, and more like defined and sharper. Yeah, sharper is a good word, I think. Which is great. Other than the meaningless UI change, what has actually been changed in the game? Well, a bunch of things. Let's get into it, and I will tell you what's been changed and what I think about it. First of all, before we get into the new dealer, hello there, he's from China, quote-unquote. Don't ask any questions which part of China and what China. Is it the People's Republic of China? Is it the Republic of China? Is it Taiwan? Is it... Don't ask, okay? Don't ask silly questions. You don't care. Well, yeah, you do. His name is Zhang, and you start off at tier 3 with this fella. With the Type 59, the Type 69-2 comes after that. The Type 80, is that a Dash 2? I think it is. There is a tier 5 premium as well, the WZ-1224. After that, the Type 85 IIM. Is that II? Is it 2? You never know. The Type 90 and the Type 98. This is just the start of the Chinese tech tree. Well, I say Chinese. It's not really Chinese, it's like... This is just the start of Zhang's tech tree. Let's keep everything politically correct. Anyway, how do you start with these? Well, you need to do 120,000 damage to enemy vehicles within 50 meters of friendly vehicles. Can be done with any vehicle. Or 600,000 damage to enemy vehicles while within 50 meters of friendly vehicle. Can be done with any vehicle. That's for missions, and for battles it's 120k. For missions it's 600k, sorry. Considering you're starting at tier 3, you're going to get it done. Don't worry, you're just going to start fighting right now and you're going to get it done. But that's not the only thing, because realistically this is like the start of something beautiful, as that song goes. This is just the start of the tech tree. We're going to have fighting vehicles, we're going to have artillery, we're going to have everything we have here but Chinese, and, Zhang, Zhang's going to have that, not China. Don't sue me for anything. Don't send the... Oh, what are they called? The Chinese Mafia, what are they called? Fuck it, I'm thinking of the Japanese one, but that's a different name. The Yakuza are in Japan, aren't they? Yeah, whatever. Don't send your... Don't send your Mafia after me. I'm just trying to be politically correct. Anyways, Zhang's tech tree is going to be filled with all sorts of stuff later down the line. For now, you have these main battle tanks and one premium. That's not the biggest change, oddly enough. Well, it is and it isn't. Like, that's the most popular one, but to me, something else caught my attention. I think I'm going to show you right away in the... Fine, let's go with the LAV 300. PvE has changed. Now doing easy missions in PvE is stupid, pointless, unless you really, really want to, do easy missions because you don't have a choice. Apologies, I still have a bit of a cough from a couple of days ago. If you haven't noticed, and it's a bit difficult to spot, logistics cost is now there. It now costs you 6,000 credits to get into a PvE match. The daily reward still stands, the bonus for difficulty still stands, and the performance has been changed. Yeah, the rewards you get for your performance has been changed. Your premium account or premium vehicle now get more of a bonus, which is a bit of a way for them to be pushing more premium account sales, but leave that aside for now. So ignore the elephant in the room and talk about a couple of other things that this entails as well. This also means that it's a bit more dependent on your performance. Well, hopefully you're about to see. Essentially, the better you do, the more money you get. And it's amplified now. Yeah, it always used to be like that, yes. But your performance didn't impact the end result way too much. So what they're pushing for this, and they're admitting it openly, is they're trying to go for more of a PvP feel in the PvE battles. As in, make it more similar to PvP rather than being its own thing that's completely separate and different from PvP. They're gonna try and make it more like PvP, which is acceptable. I think that's depending on how far they go and to what extreme. I think that's okay. It doesn't have to be its own independent thing. It can be, and in some ways even should be more like. Okay, we discovered the first bug in the game. It took me less than a minute of in-game time to discover a bug with this beta patch. Well, it's not a beta patch with this patch. Okay. That said, let's hope it doesn't happen again. If it happened there, I would be rather displeased. Anyways. Also, the matchmaker has been redone. How? Well, it's not a change that is going to strike at you like the Chinese tanks will. It's Chinese tanks are there, and you're really interested in them. At least, like most of the players are. And if you're not, then you're interested in how the bloody hell do I kill those things quickly and effectively. So at least from that perspective, you're going to look up reviews of those tanks, look at their stats and whatnot, even if you don't intend on buying them. Which there isn't a lot of tanks in the game. A lot of people probably will start playing with Chinese tanks. Well, a lot, yes, but I'm assuming most people will start playing with Chinese tanks as well, considering there's not a huge amount of tanks in the game as it is right now. When I say tanks, I mean artillery, armoured fighting vehicles as well, everything. It's an old habit from World of Tanks. I refer to everything as a tank, even though it's often an armoured transporter, or artillery piece, or a fighting vehicle, or, etc, etc. Anyways. Noob mistake, I know. The matchmaker's been reworked. How, and how is that going to affect me, Jug? Well, now, for an example, and they give a really good example of this in their forum and the change notes. Now, if you get into a platoon with 3, let's say, tier 5 vehicles, let's say it's exactly the same vehicle, you all get into T-72 Urals? Are they tier 5 or are they tier 6? Sorry, I'm going to get shit for that, because I don't know. Okay, let's go for the T-80 standard tank, because it's, it's not tier 6 or tier 7, but it's a tank. Let's say you get 3 tier T-80s. Okay? The matchmaker will not put you in a game unless there are 3 T-80s, well not 3 T-80s, but 3 tier 8 vehicles similar to your vehicle on the enemy team as well. What does that mean? Well, it literally means a more balanced game. It doesn't mean anything else. It's just literally a more balanced game. Now, if you have 3 tier 8s, the enemy should have 3 tier 8s as well, not just tier 7s or just tier 9s, with you being like the black sheep in the team. So they've rebalanced the matchmaker. Awesome. There isn't a lot to be said there. You're getting more balanced matches. That's great. There's also one thing they also did with the artillery, and the artillery goes as follows. No longer on PvE matches, and then, by the way, they just changed the PvE artillery. No longer on PvE matches is artillery going to zero in on one target and exclusively shoot on that target until it's dead. It's now much more sensibly going to redirect fire on the best possible target they can hit. They've announced this a month ago about also, I think, on one of Jingle's videos. But if you don't know who that is, it's a popular YouTuber that does Armored Warfare content, and everyone knows who Jingles is. Hey, look, another bug with Armored Warfare right there. It's bugging out. It could be just the servers, actually. Though, it's probably just the servers. It might not be, but it probably is. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, that's the changes to the PvE artillery, and we desperately need those changes. Let's not beat around the bush. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this PvE match and off camera, and I'm going to show you my preview of the Chinese tanks. Excluding the premium one because I'm not proficient enough to talk about that. I don't feel like I am. I know the game well enough to talk about premium vehicles because they earn more, so as a result they get special treatment. It costs you real money, so I don't want to mislead anyone into anything. There's a certain amount of responsibility. I'm nowhere near good at this as compared to something like something like World of Tanks, where I can talk to you about all the different premium tanks all day. But here I'm not at that level of knowledge in this game, shall we say yet. I'm going to talk about all the others. So I'm going to let the game play out, though, with some mild commentary. If you want to skip to the tank previews, well, actually, you don't want to do that, because the match is literally going to be over in a minute and 20 seconds.
Identify target. Hostile tank.
Okay, there is... I didn't get a chance to one shot. Taking some hits, but I have 500. Take a couple of more shots, and there we go. GG. Okay. Quite a ruined battlefield at the end, but victory nonetheless. And I showed the results screen actually as well, which is a good thing. I didn't just knock down my a bottle of water. Don't worry about it. Professionalism. Yeah, I can show the results screen as well compared to how well I did compared to the team and how well how it affects the credits and the results screen at the end, the bottom line, shall we say. Wait for everything to load in. I was just buying time right now. I heard this great joke yesterday. Oh, come on, Armored Warfare, don't make me tell jokes mid-video. Like, serious video, come on. There we go. So, you'll see that I've I've earned 30,000 credits and 1,788 experience. Or reputation, whatever. I was second on my team, second only to the Object 155. Now, this is 31,000. You might say, whoa, that's more than what I usually get on PvE. Don't forget that you did pay... Just to participate in that match, you did pay 6,000 logistics cost. Logistics basically covers your repair cost and your ammunition cost. So there's that. That's basically 6,000. You're paying 6,000 for that. So blaze away with that ammo, because you might as well. You paid for it, paid for all of it, regardless of whether you use all of it or not. And take a couple of hits, because you're going to pay for the full repair bill, no matter what. What do I think about that? This is the most iffy kind of situation right now that I'm not sure about. I don't think it's well balanced now. I think it's okay to go in this direction, but I think it needs more playtesting and maybe make it even more influential on how well you did, how much damage you did, make that influence the bottom line more, but make it so that initially going in doesn't cost as much. Because, yeah, 6,000 isn't anything, but I don't know. It tends to lower your total profit quite a bit, and as much as you hate to admit it, there are people that just love to play PvE in this game and don't care too much about PvP. Embarrassingly, I am one of those people. I do play PvP occasionally, especially in tank destroyers. I love playing PvP in tank destroyers, but armored fighting vehicles, main battle tanks, stuff like that, I really like PvE. And I do play PvP as well occasionally, but I like PvP as well, and I mostly play PvP, and that's where most of my money and the reputation comes from. So, with that in mind, let's get over to the dealer, Zhang, and take a look at his first tanks. The Type 55. I'm going to just preview these tanks. I have not played with them, and that's for a future video. I'm going to do full reviews, maybe, if there ever is a need, or if I ever get around to playing with these tanks. I might do full reviews of these vehicles and, get into detail and know a lot about the vehicle then and there, right? But this is like my sort of first impression of these vehicles. Okay. 1,140 hit points, standard. Hull armor, front, side, and rear, 135. It is exclusively steel. That's light armor. That is fairly light. At tier 3, a lot of rounds can penetrate that. However, I would like to compare it to its Russian equivalent, if I may. Not Wolfie, this Shishkin, and that's the T-62. Now, you see the similarities of these vehicles because, well, they are kind of similar. We can read through the history of this tank, though I don't really want to do that right now because my throat hurts quite a lot. If you compare the armor, it has better frontal hull armor than the T-62, and the T-62 has a bouncy frontal hull armor just because it's so well angled. With 135 steel, it's not going to bounce reliably, ever. I don't think it's ever. Maybe it'll bounce some heat shells more reliably than the T-62. Yeah, but it's nowhere near as reliable, okay? However, its turret armor is amazing. 240, as opposed to the 242 by the T-62. Though it is a different shape. This is a round shape, this is sort of eggy shape, so I guess getting hit here and then this sort of side area is going to be more effective than getting hit on the side area with this tank. So it has its advantage. You definitely want to go hold down in this thing, make them shoot at that cupola, make them shoot at that turret, have them bounce absolutely everything off you, and that's the way you utilize armor here. Aim time, tenth of a second lower than in the T-62, that's good. Accuracy spread is the same. Turret traverse, 40 degrees, 21 degrees. There we go. Cannon depression is going to be actually very important for those of you that might know something about Chinese vehicles. This one is... Oh, sorry, it's not just depression, it's elevation and depression. It's exactly the same as on the T-62, meaning it's completely usable. It's not good, not ridiculously, insanely good, nor is it bad. It's just pretty standard, 6 degrees slash 4 degrees. Camouflage is, believe it or not, worse than the T-62, which historically doesn't make way too much sense, considering these things were built... well, actually it kind of does, because they were built for swamps, right? They were built for jungles, swamps, where it's kind of easy to hide a tank, so... You drive it out into the open, it's not exactly going to be the stealthiest vehicle. And I think it's a bit higher profile as well, so that makes sense. Of course, steel means it has the same modifiers for APHE, and... SC is shape charge, yes. It's basically high explosive. Different high explosive. Max speed exactly the same as the T-62, and 0 to 32 in exactly the same time. It's like exactly the same tank, just slightly differently shaped and with slightly different armor angles. Its weapons, though, are what interest me. The T-62, if we have it over to it, can I actually... Yeah, upgrades. Does not have a gun upgrade. It's armor-piercing, fin-discarding Sabot rounds. Fin-stabilized discarding Sabot rounds. Do 309 with 237 penetration. It's heat. Explosive anti-tank shaped charges. Do 368 with 197mm penetration, which is roughly 200, nearly 200. Compare that to the... where is it? Being stupid, aren't I? Dealers, yeah. Bang. Compare that to this thing. It has a different choice of ammunition, as you can see. A 100mm Type 59 gun does, or has the following ammunition. It, historical accuracy here, does not have armor piercing, fin stabilized discarding Sabo. It has armor piercing. Which means the penetration is 205 and the damage is 234, which I believe is less, though we can check that very easily. It's not fin stabilizing discarding Sabo, it's just AP. There's a problem with that. High explosive, obviously, is high explosive, not too much to worry about there. The 100mm heat shape charge ammunition also does less damage, I believe, and has slightly less penetration as well. So the gun on this thing is worse. Less damage, less penetration. Well, does it fire faster? Take a look and compare them with real numbers, not just me telling you yes or no. Details. There we go. The T62 has 281 millimeters. Sorry, not millimeters. 281 damage. 123 on the Chinese fella here, I'm afraid. Sustained damage is again higher on the T62. However, the gun on the Type 59 does reload faster, 8 seconds compared to 9, so a whole second faster, but again, the alpha damage nerf is not enough to make it more firepower effective than the T62. Penetration is also lessened. If not for the penetration, I would say that they are equally good, but as is, I would have to give this one to the T62. The initial tier 3 tank, not that good. Okay? It's basically a T62, only slightly worse. Yeah, it's not ideal. What about this one, the Type 69? I still have no idea whether that's E or 2. Has heavier armor and greater durability than most vehicles. Boy, oh boy, does it! 135 hull front, but look at that angle. Steel composition, of course, and the turret has 214 millimeters of armor. However, it does have this cage around it. I'm wondering whether that actually works, because they said it's just steel here. I'm pretty sure this cage armor actually works around it, and, you know, stops. I think it's to stop high explosive anti-tank shape charges and high explosive charges as well. I could be lying on that, because I can't see it anywhere. Again, this compares very closely to the Soviet equivalent of their Tier 4 tank. But, that said, it utilizes high caliber weaponry. Yeah, it does. It's basically a Tier 4 Type 59. Only slightly better. And these tanks can apparently, well not apparently, are very bouncy in their turret, much like the Soviets. What about the Tier 5? We're getting into the expensive territory now. Again, I like the armor. I like the theme with the turret armor going on. I really like that. Steel, still keeping the steel even at Tier 5. Hull front 150, turret 320, same theme. Damage scales properly with the rest of the tanks. Again, lower than in most cases, lower than what you might expect. 8 seconds reload time. Not that great of a gun, but extremely bouncy turret. Keeping with this theme, moving on to the Type 85. It changes its armor, but it gets 300mm of hull armor and 320mm of turret armor and composite armor, both hull and turret. This is a brawler. Okay, at Tier 6, they start to develop their own flavor. This is a brawler. This is a type of get in close, angle your armor, angle your turret, make sure everything bounces off of you with that composite armor. Yeah, I've used that. Make sure absolutely everything bounces off you and play it as a close-range brawler. Get in there, mess people's days up. And the gun isn't that bad. Well, the sustained damage is kind of bad because unlike its predecessor, it reloads in 9 seconds. It's not that bad, though, considering you have, like, you fire, turn it around, angle your tank, then turn around again and shoot. So, considering you're gonna be doing that, it's not that bad. I would prefer it to be 8 seconds, but with 9 seconds, it's definitely serviceable at best. Down the line to the T90, same deal. Same deal, though I believe, let's compare armor, tier for tier. Oops. Okay, tier for tier, I believe the Type 85 is better. However, the Type 85 can get in the same matches that the Type 90 can. However, the Type 90 can get in some matches that the Type 85 can't. So, I mean, you don't really gain a lot. Yes, you do. You gain something. Also, pay attention to the gun depression and elevation. I haven't paid attention to those quite a lot. Chinese tanks traditionally have bad gun depression, so you're going to have to get used to that, and it's going to be annoying in brawling situations with these two, but again, you've gone up a tier and you haven't really gained too much armor. Gain maybe a bit, obviously you do get a better gun and you do get stuff like that, but I think tier for tier the previous one would be better, as a sort of first impressions. Next, after that, is the Type 98, a very modern tank. Well, yeah, this is a fairly modern tank. I'm sorry, but the servers are taking a crap on themselves, and to try and show you this takes a lot of patience and doesn't actually work all the time. So, Zhang, can we please have the details of the T95? No. Okay, we're gonna have to look at them like this. 509 penetration, 534 damage for a tier 8. Solid. Lower than usual. It does have the ability to fire anti-tank guided missiles, though. Both thermobaric and tandem ATGM and the high explosive anti-tanks shape charge, as well as its regular armor-piercing ammunition. The choice of ammunition on this thing is very interesting. But that is a bit more late tier, and I am nowhere near proficient enough to be talking about late tier things. I can go up to tier 8/tier 7 and talk about those. I'm wondering, though, when do they get missiles? This thing can also fire ATGMs, the Type 90. The Type, I'm wondering, the Type 85, can it... Yep, nope, the Type 85 does not get its ATGMs, not there. So after this, you get your ATGMs. Poor choice of ammunition. Well, I say, no. At some vehicles, the lower tier ones and the mid tier ones have a poor choice of ammunition and bad guns. However, are very much bouncy, sturdy tanks, right? Later tier ones do keep the bounciness somewhat, but can fire a lot of more different and a lot more interesting and a lot more varied choices of ammunition. So tier 6 is where you're going to when it's all going to change. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you happy grinding of all these tanks, and yeah, that will be more or less my first impressions of these tanks. What do I think of them as a whole? Interesting, though maybe somewhat too similar to the Soviets initially, like the initial 3 or 4, but it's okay. They're unique enough. That will be more or less everything. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video and want to stay tuned for the rest of the content that I produce on this channel. You can also check out my channel trailer if you so desire. And regardless, until next time, take care. Bye-bye. And yeah, of course, good luck in your games.